se forman por segundo. El aprendizaje temprano es crítico. El programa de apoyo temprano para niños por medio de NCSD tienen profesionales listos para apoyar familias que tienen preocupación con el desarrollo de sus niños. Proveen recursos, información y apoyo individual en el hogar en los condados de Chelan, Douglas y Grant. Favor de comunicarse. Los bebés no pueden esperar.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether.
We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Greetings, television family. Welcome to a Friday. Weekend's almost here, 19th day of May 2023. We're live here from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee. I am Dan Kuntz. I've dedicated my lifetime to quality broadcasting, and by the end of this show, in 1 hour, it will seem like a lifetime to you, I'm sure. 61 degrees, still hazy out there. We're going to show you the AQI index from the Department of Ecology, let you know how dirty the air is. It was didn't look real good yesterday. It didn't really affect us a great deal, but this is the kind of stuff that we usually deal with in September and October, not in May. 92 wildfires just in Alberta alone. There are more in British Columbia, but that big high pressure ridge is going to hang around for another day and a half, 2 days, and then it's going to shift off to the east. It's going to allow some cooler air to come in from the Pacific Ocean, and we're going to scour out the skies probably Saturday afternoon. But we're going to break a record high today. It looks like it's a distinct possibility, and tomorrow as well. Those details are coming up. Plus news, lots of sports to get to. No Mariner highlights from yesterday. They didn't play yesterday. They're in Atlanta. Well, not quite in Atlanta, suburbs of Atlanta anyway, to take on the Braves. We'll preview the weekend in prep sports. Playoff times for everybody now. Most folks are in their state tournament phases, but a few local tournaments still to be decided. And in the back half of the program, we went up to the Snowy Owl Theater earlier in the week to talk to my good friend Rona Barron alongside Stacey Coronado, who is putting on, once again, Unsettled by the Dangerous Woman Theater Troupe, written and directed by Rona Barron. Stacey plays a role in it. It is this weekend at the Snowy Owl Theater. You should check it out. We'll have that interview for you in the back half of the program. 61 hazy degrees, 2 minutes after the hour. We begin our festivities with, wherever we do, with this, our cameras, of course. Is it me, or does it look a little hazier than it did yesterday? Now, maybe just me. I don't know. A lot of bright lights in the studio, and the monitor is a little ways away, so sometimes it's kind of hard for me to make out what we're looking at. I know that's the Heights camera. And again, the Columbia River is a little on the brown side and very high. We showed you the shot yesterday of the high water in the Confluence State Park. It's up there. Rivers continue to run swift and cold, but they're pretty much at their peak right now, with one exception. We're going to show you that in just a couple of minutes. Let's head on up to Black Mountain, the very top of Black Mountain, and look out over Leavenworth. Good morning to Leavenworth. You are down there. No lack of things to do this Leavenworth. Rotary Reimagined is going on. Of course, Dangerous Woman is putting on Unsettled again. The Leavenworth Bird Fest is now officially underway, plus everything else that's going on in Leavenworth. That town's going to be hopping this weekend, and look how much snow they have lost up in the foothills of the Cascades. A lot of snow. Billy goats look mighty smoky, yeah. Again, the farther north you go, the denser the smoke is. In fact, there's an air quality alert for Okanagan County. Not for us down here, but Okanagan County, because a lot of those canyons and valleys in the Okanagan Canyon area are narrower, and it has a chance for the smoke to get closer to the surface. So if you have some respiratory issues, just a heads up, if you're heading to the north, there is an air quality alert for the Okanagan County, and they also have a better chance of a stray thunderstorm, much better than we have down here. And finally to downtown Wenatchee. See, now that doesn't look as hazy because that's much lower to the ground. That's from the roof of the Cascadian looking north on the avenue. So Mission to your left in the avenue to your right, and that doesn't look very hazy at all, does it? But you get those higher elevations that have a lot more information in the frame, and it looks hazy. I hate doing this in May. It's May 19th, and yet here we go. Here's our AQI from the Department of Ecology. Yellow means moderate air quality. Green is good. Yellow is moderate. Way down there, right by our NCW Life Channel bug, you see the Hermiston area is in pretty, not Hermiston, the Lewiston area in Idaho. Lewiston, Clarkston area is, they got some really dirty air. But everybody now in eastern Washington, because that smoke, again, from the wildfires up in Alberta and British Columbia has seeped in here, and everybody is now dealing with moderate air quality. Again, it will improve over the next 48 hours. But I also want to take you up to Tenasket, where the Okanagan River flows through Tenasket. Every year it seems prone to flooding. Where it's at right now is that blue bar. Minor flooding is at 15 feet, and it looks like it's going to peak just short of 15 feet by Monday and Tuesday of next week. That'll be the biggest chance of it actually getting up a little bit of minor flooding. Again, this is where the Okanagan River flows near the Tenasket area. It is prone to flooding. So they actually have a forecast of how high that river is going to be, and it looks like it's going to be just short of minor flooding. So I think the folks in Tenasket are going to dodge that proverbial bullet. We had 87 yesterday, not a record high, but for the next couple of days, record high temperatures from the National Weather Service. Our forecast high today, 92. Our record high on this date, May 19th, is 88. That was set back in 1993. I think we're going to get past that. 64 for the overnight low tonight under partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, maybe a degree or two warmer, 94. For Saturday, the record high on Saturday, 89, set back in 1963. So looks like a very good chance of breaking the record high temperatures both for today and Saturday. And then Saturday night into Sunday while you're sleeping, this is when this high pressure ridge is going to continually slide off to the east. It's going to go over the Dakotas and off to Nebraska and Iowa, and that's going to allow some cooler air to penetrate our area. We're going to have a very nice Sunday, although as this system comes in and the high pressure exits, it's going to be windy, especially on Sunday afternoon, quite gusty at times on Sunday afternoon with a high at 84. Then it's right back to where we should be this time of the year. Cooler weather and temperatures about normal. Now, a lot of people are saying, what's going to be the story for Memorial Day weekend? It's outside of the 7-day forecast, obviously, but right now, the National Weather Service says it's looking pretty good for another high pressure ridge to rebuild on Thursday. And if it all holds true, and again, it's a little outside of their computer models, but if it continues in this current trend, it looks like Memorial Day weekend, which is next weekend, of course, is looking mighty fine if you like sunny and warm temperatures. We'll know more, of course, when we get together on Monday. 7 minutes after the hour, come back with a cup of coffee in 2 minutes. We'll do your forecast. Your forecast. We already did that. We'll do the news. So much about a 5-star show. News is 2 minutes away. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
I had a seizure in the middle of the night, and they rushed me to the hospital and decided to induce labor to try to get the baby out. The outpouring of love and support I got from Confluence Health. My coworkers coming to the ICU to be with me. For me, it's the work family. It's just incredible to have support no matter what I'm going through in my personal life, my own health.
It's Click It RV's lowest price guarantee sale going on now at your neighborhood Click It RV.
Be a winner like me and get to Click It RV.
With 0 down and no payments till September, now is the time to own your dream RV.
Get to Click It RV now. Are you going to be mad, bro?
Get never before deep discounts on trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes. Plus the best selection, highest trade-in values ever, and a lifetime warranty. Nobody beats the discounts at Click It RV.
I'm Richard Sherman, and we guarantee it.
On Frontage Road.
Getting ready for the boating season is easy with the help of Bob File Boats and Motors. With marine technology changing fast, the service department stays up to date with the newest developments and factory certifications. They have what it takes to make boating fun and hassle-free for the season. Speaking of hassle-free, now's the time to get your boat ready for summer. Remember that starter that wouldn't start or trailer lights that didn't work? Don't be left on shore. Call Bob File's service department today and get ready for summer fun.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
The skies would be sunny if it wasn't for the haze. 63 degrees, record high temperatures in the lower 90s today. Record high temperatures in the lower 90s on Saturday. We cool down a little bit on Sunday and then back to normal with still quite a bit of sunshine and no more smoke by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. It's 10 minutes after the hour. East Wenatchee police say they themselves were the victims of a burglary that was discovered over the weekend. Take a look at that person. They're trying to find them. At about 9:30 Saturday night, officers found that somebody had broken into the vehicle impound lot, which is located behind East Wenatchee City Hall. Once there, the suspect, male they say, got into a minivan that had been seized by a patrol officer and was being held while police were waiting for a search warrant. Police Chief Rick Johnson says items were taken from the vehicle, but it's unclear whether the break-in was an effort to steal evidence related to the criminal investigation. The department issued this surveillance photo, the one that you saw, of the masked suspect. The clearest identifying mark is his white Nike sneakers. If you recognize the suspect, that person right there, if you have other information, call Rivercom and ask to speak with East Wenatchee Police Officer Hernandez. The operators of two former massage parlors here in Wenatchee are on the lam from the law. You probably know that, but it hasn't stopped them from suing the police task force that seized their assets. Lin Hee Yan and his wife Yan Yang, they're wanted on warrants charging them with organized crime and promoting prostitution through massage salons that they operated in Wenatchee and other areas of our state. Those were shut down by the Columbia River Drug Task Force on March 1st. They raided those organizations. Police also seized about $150,000 in bank assets, which they suspect were proceeds from illicit sex work conducted at the businesses. The Yans were not arrested. They're still on the lam. A Bellevue-based attorney for the couple filed a lawsuit Monday in Chelan County Court saying they were never served a proper legal notice of the seizure. We reached out to the law firm for comment. We have not received any replies. Commissioner of Public Lands Hillary Franz and Alma Chacon and the team of the folks at CAFE, they were in town yesterday to discuss the fight against wildfires. CAFE is a partner of the Department of Natural Resources Wildfire Ready Neighbors program that works to reduce the risk of wildfires that they pose on properties, homes, and communities. The event was hosted by representatives from organizations like the Red Cross, Our Valley, Our Future, and the fire districts to hear about updates and needs. CAFE has been a recent leader in local environmental justice work, specifically in regards to educating and providing resources in both English and Spanish. Franz said CAFE has added community resilience that is needed during the wildfire season.
For us, this has been a really significant turn of the organizations. I want to say I don't think it's because our people didn't care, right? I think it's because they didn't have the resources. We were running from one fire to another with Vietnam War helicopters and few firefighters just trying to put the fire out. But because of, the way I actually wrote 1168, because it meant a lot to me that we weren't just going to be about responding to fires and making our landscapes more resilient, restoring our landscapes to be more able to fight fires, but they were actually helping our communities have the tool to be more resilient to a rapidly changing landscape, whether it's fires or floods, because we've responded to both. And in it, because those to me are the three legs of the stool of changing the trajectory on a wildfire, and in that community resilience, it was all about how do we get more funding to the community-based organizations that are on the ground, they speak the language, they understand the people in the community, understand what their greatest fears are, their greatest challenges, how to reach them, what they care most about, to door by door, neighborhood by neighborhood, church by school, reach them and be the tool and be the voice, because they can do it far better than we can. We just need to give them the resources to be able to be everywhere. And what I love about CAFE is they have taken this moment to truly reach out, not just past their doorstep or past their block or past their city or county, to start to expand the work throughout central and eastern Washington to the larger community, sort of breaking down those jurisdictional boundaries. Honestly, Washington State is going to be so much stronger the more we're creating that connective tissue between our community-based organizations and the communities they serve, no matter where they are. And that's what we have to do. We have to get more of those resources to them so they can help every single person in Washington State.
Two brothers have a combined 60 years of accident-free driving. They're coach operators for Link Transit. In late last year, Jose Torres was the first Link driver to reach the 30-year accident-free milestone. And then on Sunday, his brother Roberto hit the same goal. Both of them have been driving for Link Transit since Link Transit began. Back in the early 1990s, Richard DeRock, the general manager of the Public Transit Service, says the two brothers set the highest standards for Link operators. And the gray wolf has come back from near eradication in eastern Washington. Now it could soon not move off the state's endangered species list. The Department of Fish and Wildlife is recommending a relisting of the gray wolf status to sensitive, meaning it's vulnerable but far less likely to face extinction. Washington documented 8 new wolf packs last year, including 2 in Chelan County. Wildlife managers say although wolf populations have far exceeded projections, the animals have not yet recovered in all areas. Their proposed change in their species status is open to public input, and you can read and comment on their status at the Fish and Wildlife Commission's website. I am also going to reclassify myself as sensitive. And that's what's making news at 15 minutes after the hour. One more newscast before we get to go weekend with Grant and Eric and Jordan and Jefferson. Wait a minute, I think Jefferson gets top billing. I don't think he cares. The news at 5, 6, and 10, 5, 6, and 10 on television. Also available to watch beginning at 5 o'clock tonight at your convenience on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, and our homepage. And if you want to get a hold of us, the info is right there. Our email address, our website, our Facebook page, and our telephone number. When we come back, Mariners are in Atlanta to begin a 3-game weekend series. Lots of high school sports to talk about and some important soccer tryouts for youth soccer players out there. It's all coming up in sports 2 minutes away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
With all the variety on SureStream TV from Localtel, there's always something to watch. But what if you hit the couch in the middle of all the shows? That's a perfect time to use the features Catch Up or Restart. Catch up on shows from up to 3 days ago, or restart your show from the beginning. Go to your guide and select the show to restart. Then play, pause, rewind on your schedule. Don't forget, SureStream TV from Localtel lets you decide when shows begin.
Experience memories that will last forever on a Sun Chaser pontoon boat from Bob File Boats and Motors. If you're looking to get out fishing with your buddies or just enjoying time on the water with friends, a Sun Chaser pontoon boat is a great choice. Owning a Sun Chaser is more than just an incredible feeling of freedom and exhilaration. It's about taking that indulgence to the next level. See the full line of Sun Chaser pontoon boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
You are ready to earn your BSN degree, and we know you need a special place to take the next step in your career. You are an engaged learner who needs modern labs and equipment, hands-on support, and small class sizes. You're a busy adventurer who needs trees, mountains, rivers, and trails. As a learner, as a future RN, as an adventurer, find it in the BSN program at Wenatchee Valley College.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
"18 minutes after the hour, Mariners are in Atlanta, 3-game weekend series against the Braves. They are currently 3-3 on their 9-game road trip as they stop at Truist Park. Mariners hope Bryce Miller can help right the ship after 2 ugly losses in Boston. And this guy is good. The rookie right-hander is off to a stellar start. He's 2-0. His ERA is .47. That's lower than a Gophers basement. He's going to go up against another Bryce Elder, who's also pitching good. He's 3-0 with a 1.94 ERA. First pitch is at 4:20. It's only available on Apple TV Plus, which sucks because I don't have that. There's only one game in the American League West yesterday. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout each homered. They have a tendency to do that. Angels beat Baltimore 6-5. Seattle remains 5 games behind Texas in the American League standings. Racing returns to the WVSO this weekend. It's Military Appreciation Night. All active, retired, and reserved military members get in for free. Racing will include the Rockstar Energy BMAs, the Plum Perfect Roadrunners, the Zero Handicap Youth Roadrunners, and the Angel Bell Bonds Bandoleros. Gates open at 4:30. The opening ceremony at 6. If you can't make it, we will be there. We'll have it live right here on this very television station. Eric Grandstrom and Greg Rentz on the call. You can watch it on Local Tel Channel 12, Charter Channel 19, streaming live on our Facebook page and on our website, ncwlife.com. Well, after coaching the girls varsity basketball program at Wenatchee High for 6 years, Patrick Loftus has been hired to take over the program at Cashmere High School. Cashmere AD Jeff Carlson announcing this week that Loftus was hired to replace Brent Darnell. Loftus coached the Wenatchee girls varsity team for the last 6 seasons, and he was 2.5 years before that assisting the Panther boys. He teaches math at Cashmere Middle School and Cashmere High School. We reached out to Brent Darnell about his departure after leading the Bulldogs for 11 seasons and 7 finishes at state. He says it was a rough decision, but he had to do it for personal reasons. He wants to spend more time with his family, and that we can certainly understand. Coaching has been a critical element to the success of the Wenatchee Youth FC program over the last few years. Wenatchee FC Director of Coaching is Neil Oyston, and FC parent Jeremy Anders joined me recently on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to talk about the new direction of youth soccer in our area.
There's such a popularity within the game here. I think what it needed was a structure. And I think that's, again, we've got a great board who now execute the vision that we set with the coaching staff. We've got really passionate coaches who invest their time. You've got to think a large amount of our coaching staff are actually volunteer. But we've also added great people. We've got Gary Heel, too, who's a former professional. We've got Adrian Espinoza now, who is going to be having a little bit more control within the organization. Mike Osborne as well, who's obviously been within the Valley. So you put a bit of structure to that talent, and then you're just going to see that grow. And like I said, we're going up to probably about 40 teams this tryouts, which is about 600 players within the program. And that's probably one of the biggest clubs definitely within Eastern Washington. And when we go over and we play the teams like Seattle, Spokane, and out of state, we're now competing at those levels. And so people now are starting to hear about us. It was never like that before. I think whenever we used to go to Seattle, even out of state, they'd never really heard of us. But now they know Wenatchee FC, and I think, again, that's just a testament to the work that we've done over the years.
Oyston told me the talent level in the Wenatchee Valley is really showing itself, especially at the state and national level.
Obviously, this has been a process. Obviously, I've been in this position quite a while now, and I've seen the growth within the Valley, kind of like what you said. The amount of kids playing the game is at an all-time high. And you just have to look at the high school too. Obviously, they've been very successful. We've got a lot of the boys within Wenatchee FC play at the 2 high schools local to town, and so I think it's just a testament to the work that we've been doing. Obviously, we had a national title success last year with our 2005 team. We've actually got 3 more teams. 2 of those are girls teams going to nationals this year, trying to emulate that as well. So I think you can just see across the board the amount of talent that we've got in this Valley, and we hope to add some more to that at the upcoming tryouts.
As you probably know by now, both the Eastmont and Wenatchee High School boys soccer programs are really, really good, and a lot of that is the developmental program that is here in the Wenatchee Valley.
And look, I always say if you're good enough, it doesn't matter how old you are. We've also got the local semi-pro team, Wenatchee All-Stars, as well, where we have 2 or 3 of our current players playing up on the men's semi-pro team. So if you're talented, if you can play the game, then age is just irrelevant. So, obviously Tronson and Hurtado have done a fantastic job there as well. We train the boys, and the girls too, probably 8 to 9 months of the year, and then they go off and they play high school for the remaining part of the year. So it's a fantastic relationship that we've got with both of those schools, and one where we can probably help each other into the future too.
Tryouts are almost here. They're going to be held at Wenatchee Valley College. It depends on the year you were born. Coach Jeremy Anders addresses the possible parents of the program.
It's a chance, really. There's people that, their kid may be playing rec soccer right now, and they're like, I just want to see, maybe I have a chance to play it, or just they want to come check out the club and kind of see how it goes. We're not going to say you're not committed to doing anything by coming to tryouts. It's just a chance for you to come check out the club, see the structure. We have information that we give out at tryout night. Kind of gives you, just a chance to see where your kid's at in the soccer rinks. And we have, levels on each age group that, go through there. Where, not everybody comes up and is going to play in the Super League team the first tryout they go. They develop into that.
Wenatchee Youth FC is for all ages and all skill levels, and Neil tells me the tryouts are very structured, and they're going to showcase your kids' abilities.
A big thank you to the college for hosting us during our tryout. We've got Coach Giovanni there who's going to be aiding us. We've got the 2 college fields, so it's going to be a great field, a great spectacle. We're going to be doing lots of small-sided games, so there's going to be plenty of opportunities for the players to be able to showcase their skills. They're going to be overseen by our coaching staff, myself, Mike Osborne, Gary Heel, Adrian Espinoza. We're going to be overseeing the actual tryout process. And then, if they're successful enough in being added to a team, then that's when we'll be communicating to them about what that process looks like.
Website is wvcyouth.net for more information, and get your kids signed up and check it out. Pretty cool. A few of the high school boys soccer programs will test their mettle at the state AB tournament today. Cascade will take on Kingsway Christian. It's the first official round of the tournament. That's at 4 o'clock at Highland High School. And at 6, again at Highland, is Tonasca taking on the Scotties. Quincy will host Connell tonight at 7 o'clock. Moses Lake's baseball team is at Lacey tomorrow for the first 2 rounds of the WIAA State 4A tournament. Skyline and Tahoma will play the first game at 10 a.m. At 1 o'clock, it's Moses Lake and Olympia. Then the winners will play in the quarterfinals at about 4 o'clock. Chelan is at Foss High School tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. They'll take on Kalawea in the State 1A tournament. If they win, they'll take on the winner of Toppenish and Deer Park in the quarterfinals. Cashmere is down in the Vancouver area tomorrow, taking on Cedar Park Christian Bothell at 10 a.m. At Camas High School. Linden Christian and La Center will follow at 1 o'clock. Again, the winners of those 2 games will play in the quarterfinals at 4 o'clock. Tonasca will play at Davis High School tomorrow in the first round of the State 2B baseball tournament. They'll take on Riverview at noon, with the winner taking on Tri-Cities Prep at 3. Brewster, still with baseball, is the host site for a couple of other State 2B games tomorrow. It begins at noon. Waco takes on Northwest Christian. The winner of that game will take on the Bears at 3 o'clock. Area fast pitch softball teams are playing district tournaments this weekend before their state tournaments begin next week. Eastmont is hosting the District 6 4A tournament at the Sterling Fourplex tomorrow. The Wildcats will take on Moses Lake at 11 a.m. at the district championship. At the same time, at the other field, Wenatchee will play West Valley in the consolation bracket. The winner between the Panthers and the Rams will play the loser between the Wildcats and the Mavericks at 1 o'clock for a last chance to state. Cashmere, they get to host the District 6 1A tournament after their regular season title in the Caribou Trail League. They'll take on Cascade at 11 a.m. That's a loser-out game. The winner of that game will take on the winner between Omak and Quincy for the district championship at 3 o'clock. Just one team, by the way, will advance to state. Today is the final day of the District 6 2B tournament. Brewster is hosting Orville for our last chance to get to the state tournament after Okanagan already punched their ticket earlier in the week. Today's game gets underway at Brewster at 4:30. And finally, Elmira Cooley Hardline. They're in Spokane for the District 6, 7, and 9 1B tournament today and tomorrow. The Warriors will take on Sunnyside Christian today at Franklin Park at 4 o'clock. Win or lose, they'll play at least one more game tomorrow at either 1:15 or 3 o'clock. The top 2 teams from the double elimination tournament advances to state over Memorial Day weekend, and those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 27 minutes after the hour for your obscure holiday, you can choose to celebrate National Defense Transportation Day. It's National Pizza Party Day. It's National Bike to Work Day. But no, today is National Endangered Species Day. In fact, this is the 50th anniversary of the passage of the federal law that said we have a responsibility to keep killing animals on our planet. And there are some that are in serious, serious need. I was just reading the other day about the red wolf, which is native to the Carolinas. There's only about 17 of those left. They're trying to trap them, collar them, and get them to mate. There's only 17 of those left. The Florida panther, there's only about 100 Florida panthers remaining in the wild in Florida. It's the Florida manatee. They can't eat much anymore because of us. The loggerhead sea turtle. The California condor is one of the great success stories. DDT damn near killed the biggest bird on the planet, the condor. They're coming back. There's about 223 left. We can do better than that. And the vast majority of animals that are endangered or close to extinction is because of us. Development, overhunting, that kind of stuff. National Endangered Species Day, kind of like my broadcasting career. Today in history, take a look at that flag. You're going to go, what the hell is that? That's the flag of the Commonwealth of England. You know, wait a minute, what? England blew it for 11 years. Between 1649 and 1660, for 11 years, there was no monarchy. England was a commonwealth. It was a republic. They had their second civil war in England. Charles I, the king, was beheaded, and Oliver Cromwell took over. He had a very strong personality, and he had the military on his side. And for 11 years, between May 19th on this date, 1649, until 1660, England was a commonwealth, did not have a monarchy, and then they went back to the monarchy. You had your chance, Great Britain. Anyway, that was on this date 374 years ago today. That was the flag. A little busy for me. We ran our war record to 3-0 on this date. Yeah, Revolutionary War, War of 1812, and then the Mexican-American War comes to an end on this date in 1848. 174 years ago today, the Mexicans ratified the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. And for that, we got a big chunk of real estate. We got all of California, all of Nevada, all of Utah, and parts of 4 other states. We wrote Mexico a check for $15 million. The natives of Mexico, the Mexican citizens who lived in the area that you see there, they had 2 choices. They could just stay in America and become automatic American citizens, or they could go back down to Mexico. So not a bad real estate deal, and also established the Rio Grande as the southern border of our state. The Mexican-American War came to an end with yet another U.S. victory, depending on how you look at it. And 49 years ago today, no, wait a minute, 50 years ago today, I'm wrong on that. I don't know why I said 49. The second stage of the Triple Crown. Secretariat wins the second leg of the Triple Crown, the Preakness Stakes at in Baltimore, Maryland. Secretariat started out this race dead last, and he was just toying. He was just toying with the competition. Here's a quick highlight of the Preakness from 50 years ago today, and then I'll have more information.
And they're up for the early lead. That's Deadly Dream on the outside at Taj. Then it's also Torsion on the outside. They're coming by us. It's a Taj getting it, and he's still moving away by about 2.5 as they pass the stands. Settling into second, Torsion. Sham has good position, third on the rail. It's another 3 lengths back, Deadly Dream. Then our native and Secretariat is last again as they move into the first turn. They're into the turn. A Taj has it by 2 lengths. Torsion second by a length, and then Sham third. Sham under an easy hold right now, but here comes Secretariat. He's moving fast, and he's going to the outside. He's going for the lead, and it's right now he's looking for it. Ronnie Turcotte sends him alongside a Taj. Here we have it. A Taj is the leader, but Secretariat is right alongside. Secretariat by 2 lengths. Sham driving second. There's a strong left-handed whip again by Tinkai. He goes to it time and time again, but Ronnie Turcotte has his whip put away, and Secretariat has him put away. He's beginning to draw away. It is Secretariat. He's coming to the wire. He wins it by 2.5, almost 3. Sham an easy second, our native third. A Taj fourth, Deadly Dream fifth, and Torsion is sixth, and it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Very impressive. Now the problem at the racetrack that day was that the official clock malfunctioned, and so the official timekeeper was keeping track of the race with a stopwatch, and they had a bunch of other people keeping track of the race with handheld stopwatches. The official timekeeper had one time, and all the other people, the dozens or so with stopwatches, had another time, and there was a big dispute about how fast Secretariat actually ran. But 10 years ago, with today's technology, they did a forensic review of the videotape of the entire race from beginning to end, and they confirmed that Secretariat ran the Preakness in 1 minute and 53 seconds, which is a record that still stands 50 years later. We will see you on June 9th, Friday, June 9th, for the Belmont. 33 minutes after the hour, 2 heavenly birthdays, 2 really big guys. Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, of course, in the Star Wars franchise, the English-American actor. He was in the casting room ready to read his lines. Chewbacca has no lines. George Lucas walked into the casting room and said, "Okay, Peter, let's do a reading." And Peter stood up, 7 foot 3 inches tall, towered over George Lucas. And George Lucas looked at him and said, "You have the role of Chewbacca." That was it. They stood up, they shook hands, and George said, "You're it." Peter Mayhew, born in state 1944. We lost him 3 years ago at the age of 74. Peter Mayhew was 7 foot 3. Andre the Giant was 7 foot 4 and 520 pounds. When you're that big and it puts that kind of taxing on your cardiovascular system, people that big just don't live very long. He died in 1993 at the age of 46. I don't do professional wrestling, but whenever Andre René Rosimov, it was French by the way, was on screen, I'd always watch him because the guy was huge. Andre the Giant, born in the state in 1946. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Pete Townsend. I love Pete Townsend. Terribly underrated guitarist, one of the half dozen greatest guitarists in the history of rock and roll. Why they overlook his guitar playing, I don't know. Of course, one of the co-founders of The Who, the principal songwriter, Pete Townsend. We love you, Pete. 78 years old today. And Archie Manning, 74 years old. He done pretty good. Let's see, Cooper Manning, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. Of course, Peyton has 2 Super Bowl rings. Eli has 2 Super Bowl rings. Archie Manning can do no wrong in the South. He's 74 years old today. And Eric Granstrom wants to wish his sister Sonia a happy birthday. That we just took that picture. That picture, I believe, was, oh, that's the new one. That's Eric and Sonia out on the ocean. Happy birthday to Sonia from your older brother, probably both. 35 minutes after the hour. Still to come, Mike McNally's got an opinion about what, I don't know. I didn't listen to it before I put it into the system. And then my conversation with Rona Barron and Stacey Coronado. Unsettled returns to the Snowy Owl Theater this weekend. It's put on by Dangerous Woman. They'll be joining me next. You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Badger Mountain Brewery is your cure for boredom. Jam Night Mondays. Trivia Wednesdays. Live Music Fridays. And Sunday Brunch. There's always something brewing at Badger Mountain, so come join the party.
What's the best way to attract a wide variety of beautiful birds to your backyard? By offering the birds the right foods in expertly designed bird feeders from Wild Birds Unlimited. Whether you've been feeding the birds for a while or are just getting started, let our backyard bird feeding specialists show you how to add a little joy to your life and make nature a part of every day. Shop now for exclusive bird foods, feeders, hardware, and more. Wild Birds Unlimited. Products designed by experts. Trusted local advice.
In 1963, Coastal opened its doors. 60 years later, we have you to thank for our continued success, and we're still proud to be just what your country needs.
Today, you'll find everything from pants and boots to fencing, feed, and more. From brands you know and trust like Carhartt, Wrangler, Ariat, Georgia Boot, DeWalt, and Quadrifire. Join the celebration. Stop by, scan the QR code, or enter online to win big prizes. Visit Coastal today or find us online at coastalcountry.com.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, there's a trend in evangelical Christianity called compartmentalism. This theory says that even though men or women, they're different, but they have complementary roles and responsibilities in marriage, even though they're equal in the eyes of God. There's just different roles in family life and religious leadership. Well, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Well, actually, no, because what this theory is saying in plain English, that men are still the boss and women are subservient. Interestingly, this goes in the face of numerous biblical examples of women who are leaders, teachers, and apostles. It also goes into the face of Jesus' demonstration of respect for women and their spiritual astuteness, which usually exceeded that of the men Jesus dealt with. Now, despite my long-time involvement in dealing with domestic abuse issues, I still stand amazed and chagrined at the lengths we men will go to keep women in subjection and not fully recognize their worth in our lives, particularly with those who claim to follow Jesus' example. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Are you hungry enough to eat the end out of a rhinoceros? I know how you feel. Come on out to Blueberry Hills. You'll have a great time. We've got excellent food, a feet on the furniture kind of experience, and we won't hustle you out of your table. If you want a real farm experience, make the trek to Manson to Blueberry Hills, where you sit, you pick, you eat, and you visit. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Los bebés nacen aprendiendo. En los primeros años de vida, 1 millón de conexiones neuronales se forman por segundo. El aprendizaje temprano es crítico. El programa de apoyo temprano para niños por medio de NCSD tienen profesionales listos para apoyar familias que tienen preocupación con el desarrollo de sus niños. Proveen recursos, información y apoyo individual en el hogar, en los condados de Chelan, Douglas y Grant. Favor de comunicarse. Los bebés no pueden esperar.
It's back once again. We are here on the stage of Snowy Owl Theater. Dangerous Woman Unsettled, the only show I guarantee you will ever see that's an original production that actually has an invocation. Maybe you should do a benediction too. I never thought about that. That's the first thing I thought of. I've never seen a show that starts out with an invocation.
Well, it's an indigenous way to sort of clean your mind and your spirit.
Okay.
And so it was a natural way to begin something like this that is, you know, pretty deep and has a lot of pieces. And so, yes, we're doing that.
Speaking of somebody who's deep and has a lot of pieces, it's the not shallow Rona Barron, who's, of course, putting this on again. And you're back again with your friend here.
Yeah, Stacy Coronado.
It's good to see you again, Stacy. So this is, the first thing people are going to say is, wait a minute, is this the same production you did last year? And in a way it is, but in a way it isn't, right? It's a variation on your theme from last year, correct?
Well, we wanted to explore settlement in this part of the state, and we do that with 4 different cultures and many different women in art forms. And so we're still doing that this year, and many of the favorite scenes and many of the scenes that were powerful returned. But some things have changed. There are some scenes that have been deleted, some scenes and characters and personalities that have been added, and then we've changed some of the staging and the costuming. So it's not quite the same show.
But the source material is kind of the same too? I mean, the people who play, for instance, you kind of just play yourself in some respects, but you kind of wrote your own role too, in a way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, so there's that as well, right, Rona?
Well, you know, Stacy can talk about this more, but she tells an indigenous story that has been around for perhaps thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, I guess, would you say you're playing yourself, or how would you talk about that?
The way that I would talk about it from playing the grandmother is that I am playing myself, in that I'm playing one of my ancestors. My ancestors have been telling these stories to children and to their community for thousands of years. So I am playing myself in that sense.
Can you feel the connection with your ancestors when you're reciting the lines and playing that role?
Yeah, I get memory of being told as a child these stories. You know, I remember their facial expressions, the way they moved their hands, the sound of their voice when they talked about different characters. I remember going into that world that I'll be taking the audience into.
And you do that very, very well.
Thank you.
So as you mentioned before, some scenes have been deleted, other scenes have been added. Outside of that, it feels almost like a greatest hits package. It's like, this is going to be the best one yet. I mean,
well, I mean, we only did this one year. In the past, Dangerous Women has done 2 other theme shows.
Right.
One was Spellbound, the history of mystical women, and the other was Victorious, the history of women winning the right to vote.
and yet you decided to continue on with Unsettled.
Yeah,
as opposed
which
to
is
doing
different. Which is different. We did it 2 nights last year, and now we're doing it 3 shows because it sold out and it was extremely popular, and it was so relevant to this region. And you know, we have cast members like Stacy, who is more in her own history, but we have people like Mandy Wickline, who wrote a rap for Klondike Kate, and she's in acting and dancing and singing and rapping. So there's a lot of variety in how the stories are presented, but they're all based on history or historical research.
Do the people of the Wenatchee Valley in north central Washington get it? Because there's been a lot of attention on Indigenous personnel and Indigenous people over the last 10 years. Recognition, like, boy, we screwed up. I mean, we talked about this last year, how ticked off I was, and I had nothing to do with it, but it still made me mad. What my ancestors did to your ancestors.
As far as get it, I guess it's an ongoing process. Like, humans learn as we go, as we live life. So I guess that's probably why I'm so interested in doing this show, is to encourage others, encourage other youth to continuously find ways to teach humility, to teach compassion, to teach understanding, to teach the embracement of differences, so we're not making the same mistakes as we've made in the past. And I think that the world as a whole, we need to continue to teach. We need to continue to show these kinds of things.
So you don't think you're holding the ocean back with a broom? You're actually making progress, tangible progress in that regard. I mean, you know how it
This is something we've discussed, Stacy and I.
You know, because sweet to me, we do our best. That's all we can do.
You know, that actually is an excellent question or thought. Because we do the Indian boarding school story, the reservation boarding school story. And so we're trying to, you know, bring more light into those dark and ugly corners of history. And I've been thinking recently on a personal note about, you know, how we want to live our lives and how I want to live the last third of my life. And I've been thinking I would rather go out fighting the good fight than just going, oh, well, you know. And I think what's interesting about our cast is that almost every woman in our cast is dedicated to making the world better, not through violence, but through education, peace, being very, very powerful, and being warriors, but not in a violent way.
We're going to show a quick a trailer, if you will, just like the movies, roll tape on that. In just a second, I have one quick question for you while it's in my head. Because some of these scenes are rehash, I don't want to say rehash, but familiar to the people who've seen the show. From a production standpoint, does it make it a little bit easier for you as far as lighting cues and sound and sets? Because, well, we did it last year, so we know what light needs to be where, when anybody needs to be. Is that lighten that load at all?
Well, that's actually a funny question, although you don't know it, because, I mean, in some ways it's easier. Yeah, in some ways it's easier because, you know, the cast has done the show before in this space. But Snowy Owl Theater got all new lighting and tech system, so we actually had to reprogram or not me, but Eric Frank, who does that, had to reprogram the entire thing, and that has been a lesson for him in learning a new program. And you know, our tech's pretty complex, So that part isn't easier, but some parts are, because we kind of, you know, we did throw the spaghetti against the wall, and we knew that was al dente. It's good now. You know, at least we have that with us.
So what are the folks at home going to see on the video about ready to show?
Well, we took images from last year, and we created the story of how we're doing an encore presentation of Unsettled this year. That's the trailer.
Three shows instead of two. That means a matinee, a Sunday show. Because you were Friday night, Saturday night last year, right? So Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon?
Sunday matinee at 2, and then the Friday and Saturday shows are at 7:30.
Okay. Go ahead. Did you have anything else to add to that?
No.
I was going to ask you, is it kid friendly, or are kids going to be 10 minutes into this thing and say, I want to go home and play my Xbox?
Those probably aren't the kind of kids that would end up here in the first place. But
I mean, I'm just trying to be honest for the folks who, because kids should see this, but
yeah. Well, did you have? I'll tell you my stories about kids that came. But do you have children that came, friends of yours or family that you could speak to about that?
I had all 9 of my grandchildren come. So, yeah.
I bet you they're proud of Grandma.
They
I know
liked
that for a fact.
I'm encouraging them to be able to tell these stories and to be able to find a way to have a voice in making the world more compassionate and accepting.
You do have some new faces in this year's production, very familiar faces to the people around the Wenatchee Valley.
Right.
In fact, the Wenatchee Valley women.
Yeah, right.
Who are making the trek up here to the Bavarian Village to do the show. Talk about the other cast members.
Right. I just wanted to be a little more specific too
ahead.
about kids. So last year we do talk back after the shows where the audience asks anyone in the cast a question. And that lasted 10 to 15 minutes last year just because people are so engaged. And we had one girl who I'm going to say was maybe 10 years old, and she was holding up her hand. And I called on her and she asked some really thoughtful question. So I would say if you're thinking of bringing your kids starting at about age 8 or 9, something like that, definitely middle school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Wenatchee,
cast members, right,
yeah, Wenatchee cast members. New to the production this year is Susan Heminger, and she's pretty well known for theater work.
As is the whole Heminger family, for that matter.
Right,
so.
right. And she's wonderful. She's wonderful. I'm so glad to meet her this way. She's having a great time. And then Sally Knipfer, who teaches at Pioneer Middle School and has also done quite a bit of theater. Marilee Kunkel, who grew up in Wenatchee as a theater kid, Music Theater of Wenatchee, her dad was the founder of it. She's in the show. Angie Plock is in the show, and she teaches fitness and is very involved in youth circus and other things in Wenatchee. Let's see, who else do we have from Wenatchee? Oh, Mary Big Bull Lewis is in the show for the first time.
She's
and
the founder of Wenatchee Wear?
She's a founder of Wenatchee Wear and also Indigenous Roots and Reparation Foundation, IRRF. They're a supporter of the show, actually. And so she's doing something she's never done before on stage. We have a mixture of people who are brand new to theater and then experienced people. But definitely this year we have even more Wenatchee women that are in the show.
And we would be remiss, because we're almost out of time, for those people who've never heard of Dangerous Women, never heard of Unsettled, never heard of the show that's going to be playing this weekend at the Snowy Owl Theater, there's not really a plot synopsis in the traditional sense, but can you give people an idea who are teased by the trailer, have an idea of what they're going to experience if they plunk down their money? What is the show in a sense? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, Rona.
No, it's okay.
But you got about a minute to explain to people what the hell they're going to see if they.
Well, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Well, we do untraditional theater. You know, we're groundbreaking. So they're going to see a history of this area, but we have a Latina perspective, an indigenous perspective, African American perspective, and a Caucasian perspective. A pioneer, people who were settling, although many of those women were unsettled when they came, and then the indigenous culture, which was being unsettled. It's history from a number of points of view. And because it's that, and because the women bring their own thing to it, the whole thing is narrated seasonally, and the moon is our narrator. And this year, our moon, Mindy Wall, is going to narrate spoken word, but she's punctuating with American Sign Language. She's an instructor in it. So, you know, we have everything from abstract dance to rap to tight four-part harmony, you know, dance numbers, song numbers, all kinds of indigenous scenes, Latina dancing, singing. It's actually a gorgeous show.
This place only sits 110 people, so.
Now, come on now, it's double, we can double that.
Can we?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, well.
220.
Okay, we'll just do that then, 220. And as Rona said, it sold out last year, both shows, so I guess it's all 3 shows will sell out as well. Icicle, Center of the Performing Arts website, icicle.org is the website. You're right on the front page, just click on buy tickets. Don't think around, get it done. Anything else we need to know while I have you here, while we're up here on this beautiful campus?
Yeah, if you haven't got tickets, you know, since we're doing 3 shows, we may sell out, we may not. So feel free to, tickets at the door too.
But you're taking a chance if you do that.
Could be,
Yeah.
could be, yeah. I mean, yeah, right now I think it's okay, but sometimes I'm surprised at how much response we have. Anything else you should know? Dangerous Women is, you know, 35 women and some girls who
and a couple of guys. There's a couple of guys in this.
They're not on the stage. But,
you know what I mean.
Yes, I do know what you mean. They're very important, but they're not on the stage. And we are bringing something to life here in this part of the state with people from Seattle and OMAC, and Sally Singer's coming from Walla Walla. And we're doing something that is fresh and different, and it's meaningful. So I would encourage people to check it out and get involved if they want to, actually. We're very inclusive.
Is there going to be a Dangerous Woman Unsettled 2024?
I don't know about that. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I thought so, but you know, we also build these original shows, and so we need to talk about it as a cast after this show. Okay. So this could be the last year? Not sure.
It depends if you're at each other's throats by Sunday afternoon.
This is such a drama-free group. I have to say,
good.
I adore the women.
That's good.
They are fantastic. Yeah.
Dangerous Women, written by and directed by our very own Rona Barron. I say that because we used to work together for quite some time.
That's why you call me your very own?
That's right. Have fun, break a leg.
I didn't write everything. Many women wrote many things.
Right, but you kind of figured it all out. So, you know, they turned the puzzle upside down and you had to figure out with the pieces.
That's sort of true.
There's your metaphor for you. Now I'm talking in idioms. It's been a long day. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
My name is Anna Marie. I've lived at Prestige here for 6.5 years, and I love it. They just made you feel so welcome. I love my room. I get 3 meals a day, do as I darn well want to. I've loved it ever since I moved in.
Mom's a wonderful, wonderful lady. She deserved the very best, and I got it for her here at Prestige.
So, how's Evan?
Well, he's all grown up now, but I worry about him.
So many dangers in the world. COVID, the environment, the opioid epidemic. Yeah, I hear opioid misuse is on the rise. I don't even know how to start a conversation with him. This might help. GetTheFactsRx.com. There's a whole section on how to talk about opioids with your family. Offer support, not judgment. Cool.
Talk to your family about the dangers of opioids. Visit GetTheFactsRx.com.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. NAMI envisions a world where all people affected by mental illness live healthy, fulfilling lives supported by a community that cares. We have resources for you and can't wait to become an extension of your family. We are here for a healthier world. We are here for better mental health. We are here for each other. Join us.
Still got that haze from the smoke from the wildfires up in Alberta and a few in British Columbia as well. So we thought before we do the forecast, one more look at the AQI, the Air Quality Index.